Welcome to DMOP Garage. We are working back on the 54 barn door single cab. Let's have a look and see what's going to be happening today. Last progress video was working on getting the door handles done and a few other bits and pieces. We're onto the back floor. We also got the chassis painted underneath it because we're going to be welding the floor down and then continuing the build from here. So as you can see already, I've started marking out where we have to drill our holes for our plug welds, and there's going to be a lot of them. As you can see, every one of these little black dots is going to be a hole that we have to drill in. Yes, this is torture. There's a lot of drilling to be done, so we've got to get that done. Then obviously we've got the gearbox hump, which gets welded on at the back here. That's another part that has to be put on. And then, we basically go up from there. So a little bit more painting to be done as well at a later stage. One other thing I did do inside the cab was I tacked in that holder for the interior lamp. So, which is this part here, which you guys would have seen. There it is. The Bakelite little part that gets screwed onto the top. Now, I've realised that this is not going to have a headlining, obviously, because that was originally up in that spot. So the single cab barn doors didn't have a headliner in them. They just thought, nah, we don't need that. Interesting little thing. So we've got a couple of little spots inside that we've still got to clean up, but we'll get that done at a later stage. This part here also, that needs to get welded in, and that actually lives just behind there like that. I think that adds just in being able to fix your front door cards or kick panels to the front. So we've got to get that welded in as well. Now, one question which I don't know, and I'll probably have to find out, where the shifter goes, you can see that this is actually beveled or raised up and is angling towards the left. And I have a sneaking suspicion I'm going to have to cut this out and reverse it, because I think this floor was originally a left-hand drive floor. Because why would the plate be slightly angled here? If anyone knows, please let me know, because I'm thinking I'm going to have to cut that out and angle it that way, because obviously right-hand drive, we're going to be over the other side. So that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. You can see how it's got that bevel to one side and it's slanted over. So yeah, not sure on that one. We'll have to find out. All right, onto the floor. Let's get it drilled. So after drilling all the holes, and that took a while, you don't realise there's a lot of holes, and when you forcing the drill bit down, have a look at the blister right there. Yeah, that's from doing all that. Interesting. So what we're going to do now is I'm not going to weld it straight down yet, because the gearbox mount, I suppose, shroud that goes over the top, this panel, we can't get to it from inside here to be able to weld it. You can see I've got some clamps in there holding it where it has to go, and my theory is if we weld these two panels together, so I'm just going to come up the middle here and just weld them so these two are together. Then with the clamps in place, we're going to flip the whole thing upside down, and then I'm hoping I'm going to be able to get the spot welder in there and run along it. I just don't know whether the jaws are going to clearance in there or not. I don't know, this angle might be too much, but we're going to try it anyway. If it doesn't work, then I'll just have to plug weld it, but I can do it from underneath, and then it'll be a lot easier than trying to do it now. So let's just get a couple of welds along the middle here to join the two together, and then we'll flip the thing over. Okay, right, let's get this thing off and flip it upside down. So we got this part welded in. Unfortunately, I did have to plug weld it. I was able to get the spot welder in just here, but not all the way along. Unfortunately, the jaws just wouldn't get in there, so no big deal. I mean, it's all done, so that's all attached. Now we've just got to flip this whole behemoth over and put it into its position for the final time, and then we can start getting it welded in. All right, flippy time. All right, we are ready to weld.
A few moments later.
Righto, we have a little bit of welding done, and again, it's not the most exciting thing to be watching me plug weld, but you can see I've done a couple of runs here already. This tool here is invaluable. It is, I mean, I know I've just modified it myself, but you tell me where you can buy one like that, because I couldn't find one. You know, I can put it all the way through and clamp these ones and get them welded. Now, a big problem when you're doing plug welds, I can show you here, what happens is if you have a really close look at, say that for instance there, you can see that the two panels are touching together. But what can happen if you don't have some sort of clamping force on it, you know, whether it's a screwdriver or a chisel holding the two together and then weld it, if you just leave it as it is now and go and weld it, they'll actually part ways a little bit, and you'll end up with a bit of a gap underneath each one of them. So you need to have them clamped together to get a good tight weld, plug weld. Now these are 5.5 mil diameter hole that I've drilled, and you know, you can get them, if you look at these ones that I've done, you can see that you can get them reasonably flat. Some of them come out really flat, like that one there's come out nice. Some of them not so much. So, I mean, obviously you're going to still have to grind all this. You know, there's no other way out of it, unfortunately. But yeah, clamping it and using this guy here to clamp, you know, either side, it works fantastic. So anyway, the long, slow welding process, like I said, I'm not going to film it. It's boring to watch. But yeah, let's keep going. Okay, welding is complete. I haven't actually done any grinding yet because that's going to be another torturous day. But at least all this is welded. It took pretty much the whole day to get it done, so it's not a quick job. Obviously time lapse, when you do show that, it's all done in a second. So we've got this little piece now here that I've just tacked in position, and I've got it square, and we're just going to run a couple of little plug welds along the back here. Again, unfortunately I can't use the spot welder because my jaws aren't long enough, so I'll probably have to invest in some longer copper jaws for that. But anyway, yeah, we'll just get a couple of tacks along here. That'll sort that out. And then next we are going to be looking at these front little two uprights and then the two main supports, spars that come down to the back. So yeah, let's keep going. All right, job done. We'll continue on to the front. So we are on to putting these side top chassis rails, or whatever you want to call them. Sorry about the rain. It is absolutely bucketing down outside. Yesterday we had a a 35-degree hot day, and today it's dropped down to bloody 18 and freezing, typical Melbourne weather. Anyway, yeah, we're going to try to get all these chassis top rails done. First thing we've got to do is do some plug welds. Well, we've got to stamp using our little stamping tool here. Whenever it wants to work, sometimes it doesn't work. Let's come over here. We've got a little bit to do here. So these little plates here need to have some holes stamped in them. So just punch in a couple on the underneath here. Okay, that one's done. Got to do a little bit on this guy. I'm not sure if that's actually going to work. It did. That's quite thick too. Alright. And a couple just here. One already there. A couple on this one. Okay. Right, so what we're going to do, I've actually already marked some lines for where these have to go. So, actually, no. So before we weld these top chassis rails in, we're going to plug weld up the upper supports over here. So these ones here have to be plug welded. So we'll get those in now, and they're clecoed in position, so there is a little bit of a gap just here, so I'll try and put a clamp over that and see if we can clamp that a bit tighter. Otherwise we're not going to get a good weld there. So let me grab my extendo clamp. Don't know, yeah, that's not going to make it. Yeah. We have an issue there, don't we? Yeah. Might have to give that a tap with a hammer. Other side's the same. I'll go and fix that up. There you go, that's better. All right, we'll put a couple of welds in this quickly. Okay, guys, so we've got those rails welded in, and as you can see here, these are just placed on top, but that's what's going to be next. We have to get these all obviously spaced and get them all perfect to where they need to go. They will be welded on next, and then we can continue putting the sides or the actual frame on, and then we can get the side panels done as well. So that is pretty good. Pretty happy with the progress so far. I reckon that's going to do it for this episode. Thanks again for all the new subscribers. We've got more content coming. We're going to be focusing more on the Beetles soon because we've got summer here in Australia. I want to get this thing in primer and start working on it and get it, get it up a little bit further in its progress. So we might swap places, put the Ute there, bring the Beetle here, and go from there. Updates with that gearbox over there. There's a gasket kit coming, so that will get put back together. We will continue on that one as well. So yeah, thanks a lot for tuning in this week, and we will see you next week on another episode. Cheers, guys. You.